I'm Ray Ritter, Director of Client Service and Marketing at Legal Internet Solutions, a digital marketing agency that specializes in law firms and legal service providers. Today I'm here to discuss what is diversity, equity, and inclusion, and what do they mean, and why is DEI important to your law firm? And finally, how can you incorporate DEI into your law firm's website? Recently, Julie Ackerman, one of our top legal writers here at Lisi, and I co-authored a blog post on ways to foster diversity, equity, and inclusion within your law firm. And I encourage you to check that out. We're often asked about this topic when our law firm clients are redoing their websites. But now and all the time is a perfect time to take a fresh look at your law firm culture in real life and compare how that comes across online with respect to DEI. But first, let's dig into the DEI definitions. So that stands for diversity, equity, and inclusion. I'll quote Julie's definition from our blog post. Diversity includes individuals of different ethnicities, religions, sexual orientations, gender identities, ages, education levels, disabilities, economic statuses, and family or marital statuses. Equity is creating equal access and opportunities for everyone within an organization to succeed and grow. Inclusion is fostering an environment where differences are welcomed, varying perspectives are respectfully heard, and every individual feels a sense of belonging and inclusion. So, why is DEI important? Well, the quick answer is that it's ethically and morally the right thing to do to support DEI in your law firm. But doing so will also attract more diverse talent to work in your firm and foster inclusion and diversity within your existing team. Law firm clients are also increasingly selecting and hiring the firms whose DEI policies and activities align with their own DEI policies. So, if anyone needed some extra convincing beyond the fact that it's just the right thing to do, it also can affect your firm's bottom line. So, I'm going to cover some very specific ways that you can incorporate DEI into your law firm website. Starting with number one, post your firm's DEI statement or policy to the website. So, this might be the easiest step or the hardest one, depending on whether it's already written. So, please reference our recent DEI blog post because it has tips on writing it and what to include. This should be reviewed and updated routinely to ensure it accurately represents the firm's policy, vision, and goals for DEI. And of course, check with firm leadership, HR, and even your own in-house general counsel to ensure that everything is accurate. And here's a pro tip. Review all the website content with an eye for DEI. Take special care with the about, history, and firm mission pages, if you have them on your site, to ensure that the messaging is consistent and aligns with your DEI policies. Next up, number two, review and update website photography to reflect diversity. So, quick little story. A couple years ago, I remember trying to source stock photography from one of the largest stock photo resources out there and not being able to find appropriate images that represented a diverse client and their target audience for their new website. It was incredibly disappointing and disheartening. And it was like they heard my frustration. A few months later, they released a communication that vowed to be more inclusive and better reflect the diverse world in which we live. And since I have seen a major change for the better in the photo options available from that resource. So, to ensure that your website photography is inclusive and represents DEI policies, review them routinely and update as necessary. Refer to the diversity definitions and think about all the ways that your lawyers, staff, clients, and prospects might be diverse and reflect them in an authentic way through photography on your site. Here's another pro tip. In addition to the large stock photography warehouses, there are other stock photography shops created to provide free stock photography created with a focus on disseminating photography of particular groups that were previously underrepresented, like disabled individuals, trans folks, people of color, and more. Next up, number 3, make your website accessible. Surprisingly, I think most people don't connect the dots between accessibility and inclusion. However, a quarter of the population has some type of disability which may exclude them from properly accessing or interacting with your website. It is literally the opposite of inclusion if your website is not accessible. Of course, this means that the site will have to be set up to interact with screen readers for the visually impaired. But it also needs to address accommodations for other types of disabilities, including motor impairments, cognitive disabilities, color blindness, and folks prone to seizures caused by flashing visuals on a website. Making your law firm website accessible might seem like a major challenge, but there are plenty of resources and digital partners who can help you achieve accessibility on your website. And at Lisi, this is something that we do for clients all the time. And here's your bonus. In addition to your website, don't neglect the firm intranet, client portal, microsites, and blogs if they don't appear on your website, and even look at your social media. Go through all these steps for these places and make sure your DEI policy is posted on the intranet and in electronic handbooks. Assess the photography used across all your digital mediums and make sure your content is accessible. It's 2022, so it's time to get proactive and make sure your website reflects everything that your firm does in real life, in offline, to foster diversity, equity, and inclusion. And apply this quick checklist to ensure that you're doing just that. If you have any questions about your law firm website and DEI, please reach out to me at rae@legalisi.com or on LinkedIn. Thanks for watching.